This is Rhyme Makers Live. All right, everybody, welcome back to Rhyme Makers Live. I'm your host, Esikran, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing my good friend, Trevor, aka YXL Trev, half St. Lucian, half British. Trevor, how you doing?
My G, I'm good. Boy, no, like when you hit me up about this, bro, like there's certain people who like, when it comes to the whole music vibe, it goes more than like just like music. You check, like it goes more than that. Like people might not know, but I know you from like grade 4, bro. You check like primary school times. You check. So this goes back deeper than that, bro. So I had to say, come on.
Yes, sir. So right now we talking to kind of an international audience, people all over the world, right? So give them like a 30, like kind of a 30-second breakdown of who you are.
Vibe. So yeah, so my name, YXL Trev. When it comes to the music that I've been doing over the last probably like 3 to 4 years, it's been something which has been like an amazing journey. My sound has changed, but from what I represent St. Lucia. I represent the Caribbean roots that we have here. Yes, I'm half British, but at the same time, it kind of allows me to bring everything together. That is like my life, and just representing the island. There's much talent over here in Lucia, so I just want to put that on the forefront. The young wave, the new wave, that's what I want to really show there.
Definitely. Love to hear that. Repping the home.
Oh, of course, bro. 758 all the way.
So you kind of already touched on my next question. You said you've been doing music for about 4 years now, but
yeah.
I mean, if I go back in my memory banks, you kind of been you probably been dabbling with music for a lot longer than that. So tell me how like you first got like started in music.
Right. So, okay, boy, that journey. So I would say like when I was like raised up as like a kid, I wasn't really around like too much music initially. Like I wasn't very like in that type of world, right? And then it wasn't until this was in like primary school, in like England. My mother basically put me into like to do piano. Now my mother was like in piano, she was in choir and stuff like that. She was singing, like my mother was on. So she was like, this is like a good extracurricular type of vibe. She didn't think that I would have liked it so much, bro. You feel me? She didn't think that I would have caught onto it so much. So I did piano when I was 8. Then when I came over to St. Lucia, I was at the School of Music. I did violin as well.
Right.
My mother put me through the choir too. I had them stages. We all had those stages. Yeah. We all had those stages. So to be honest with you, having the piano, the violin, I did graded theory as well from the time I was like a child. So at that point in time, it was kind of like it just became a part of me, like not even to say like I was introduced to it from birth. No, I found it, and it found me. You check. So yeah, and then obviously after doing like music on a more instrumental side of things, yourself, we started like a vibe called GC, over here in St. Lucia. And we were young, bro. We were young. We were like 14, 13, 14, touching those ages. And we were like, doing songs, tracks, music videos. We're kids, we're kids. People aren't expecting to see kids doing full music videos, cursing and all kind of stuff. Yeah. They were like, what is going on? They're like, what is going on? These kids are going mad, So yeah, it started early for me, but I think because of the fact that I started it so early, it kind of made it a bit easier as I got older to kind of understand the ropes of things a bit better, because we had all kind of done music from the time we were smaller. To kind of learn a couple of mistakes, you go for experiences, you don't know what you should do, what you shouldn't do. So now it's kind of like coming into like a whole, like it's culminating all together now. And now we're able to really do it 100% in the correct way. You feel me? Like knowing what we're doing, understanding the business side of the music, not just like the musical theoretical aspect, no, but actually the business side of the music too, So that has really, really helped us like a lot.
Nice. Uh,
Mhm.
uh, you actually mentioned music theory. I know.
Mhm.
So I know a lot of artists, like including myself. Like I have no. I mean, I also did piano for a little bit, but to be honest, all that
Mhm.
theory kind of just like poop a long time ago, right? I know a lot of
True, true, true.
artists kind of, especially if you start like through your teenage years or whatnot, don't really have that
Mhm.
kind of musical background. Would you say that
Right.
having that foundation, like starting on the piano, actually learning to read music and getting some of that theory, would you say that it carried over musically speaking, like to your current music, which is kind of far removed from what it was before?
Mhm. I think it's definitely one where I would say things have changed so much from before. Like times have changed tremendously. Like I would say back then it was put into our minds that like as if for you to be, musically talented, or for you to do anything in music, you needed to go through these, like systematic type of vibes,
Mm-hmm.
going through graded theory, going through graded music and stuff like that. It's all changed, it's all changed because we all realize the tools that we need, we already have it. And it's just to grow and to develop it within yourself. Nowadays, someone doesn't need to have gone to a music school to be able to know how to play the piano. They don't need to
Mm-hmm.
know how to, do all of these things from before. Everything is now online. You can search it up, a quick search, and for example, when it comes to production, how to start to produce yourself. You don't need an older person to maybe teach you that in person anymore. It's changed. So I think to say that like you need to go through that is definitely wrong. You don't necessarily need to have gone through something when you were younger. Um, I would say it's like music. You're in like you're not in a race against yourself. There are people who start their music careers at like 20, 30, 40. Like once you are in tune with it, there's no limit to it. So just because someone may have started music maybe a couple years before you doesn't necessarily mean that they are in a more advantageous position, because especially as music has changed from like a more physical to digital type of style now,
Right.
like those people who did music before, they are having to relearn and everything, because they don't have no idea what's going on now. So
True.
yeah, they may have been doing music like 15 years ago, but then now it's like as if they're beginners again. They have to search everything again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like you're not in a race. Once you are prepared to, open your mind and be patient with yourself with the process, like there's no limit. There
Yeah.
literally is no limit whatsoever, bro.
Definitely. I feel that's such a good point too, because sometimes people can kind of cripple themselves from taking action just by comparing themselves so much to other people and like kind of losing hope
Mm-hmm.
because they feel like as if they're too far behind or they never had a
Right.
chance or that's just not them. But at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
you know, no one was born being a phenomenal
Facts.
talent. Maybe a few people throughout
Yeah,
history,
it's
prodigies,
true.
but once you can get started,
Right.
you can make it.
Mm-hmm.
You can make it.
Of course, of course, of course. Because I think like especially because of the fact that like for people who are listening from outside of the Caribbean, the industries are very different. You have a much smaller type of kind of environment when it comes down to St. Lucia. Everybody knows everybody, so support is there. But at the same time, it's like you need to put in the work. Yes, there might be natural talent, as you were saying, but you need to hone it. You need to practice it. You need to keep
Mhm.
on it. Like you need to actively create your craft and improve on it and adapt. So if, for example, somebody was doing music for, I don't know, 5, 10 years, if they were not open to being adapting and just being versatile and diverse and accepting the changes that's going to happen in music, you will see it. You will see a young person just come out of nowhere, first time they've ever done music, and then boom, they're able to catch the vibe. And that's nothing to do, and that's no disrespect to anybody who's done anything longer, because you have to
Right.
always give credit for people who were doing their stuff before, bro. Like they
Yeah.
set the whole background, the whole industry, everything to give us the opportunities that we probably have now. At the
Hmm.
same time, it's for everybody to understand that it's like you got to adapt. And if you don't adapt and times are changing, then you get left behind.
Big
So
facts.
if you have the opportunities now, and you know someone down the road that's like, you know, has a little mic and a little setup. You don't need a massive, you know, studio to go and do your recordings. You don't need to. You know, we've learned that there's artists who have their own setups at home, you know, so it's like you have to be proactive and be responsible for your own growth, you know. So
Definitely.
I think 100%, there's no limit, man.
Definitely. And what you said about like the gear is so key too, because I was even when I was interviewing Jaden, aka Vision, he was talking about how when Gotham Click, which you mentioned earlier, when it started, they were just recording on phones. They were using their phones as
Bro.
as mics, bro. And
Bro, it was mad, bro. It was mad.
yeah,
Like, fam, there was a time when because I left St. Lucia when I was like around like 15, right? I left St. Lucia when I was 15 to go and do A level in England. And at that time I had no mics, I had no setup like that. And all I was doing, I had a Sony Ericsson, right? I had a Sony Ericsson. And then like I just used to have like the same type of like headset and stuff, and I just used to like hang it, like loop it over like the handle door, like of the like the door itself, just loop it over the handle, and I would literally just be recording into that. Legit, like this would just be there and it would just be hanging here like that, and I would just record it through the mic. At the end of the day, you have to make do with what you have until you have, you know. So now we actually have the resources ourselves, bro. You feel me? Like you got the power in your hands as an artist, you know.
Definitely. Now, as we we're already touching on kind of Gotham Click right now. Let's go a little bit deeper, right? So like tell me how you specifically first got involved with Gotham Click, like how and like kind of how that experience was for you. You already spoke about a little bit how like, you know, like it was kind of crazy. Y'all came together, made it happen, y'all were putting out tape after tape after tape, sick music videos.
Yeah.
I remember looking at some of those and being like, damn, like check it, like that's some crazy shit. So yeah, talk about your Gotham Click experience a little bit more.
I would say it's like it comes down to the way our personality is like as young people in St. Lucia, the upbringing that we have like obviously we got like proper support, you know, love from family and stuff like that. Like that's there. But as kids, it's much different to like a first world country where like the environment and the experiences that you go through, I find they're so unique over here, bro. Like we were free. Our personalities were free and open. There was no limit. There was no like judgment. There was no nothing. So we were just wilding out. We were just young kids doing mazza, bro. Like it was to the point where I didn't feel like as if, okay, I wonder how these people are gonna think about me when I do that. Nah, it's like we were fetting, we were going parties back to back. And all of the people who were in GC and the whole collective and everybody affiliated with it, we were all friends, like crazy tight friends, and we all are still right now. We're all tight friends, and we were going to parties. Fellas were wilding out. This time we're like, you know, early teens. We're not even like, we're like early teens, bro. Everyone's wilding out. As a guy, you know how it is. Things happen. You know, you end up living a life that's a madness. You start doing, we're drinking up, you're going. So we were just like, you know what? What's the point in trying to cover up and put this like pretty type of like image when it comes down to how people live in St. Lucia? It's like we live free, you know. And I'll never forget, like when we were starting up the vibe, there were a couple comments from like older people, right? And they were like saying how like, you know, how like they don't want St. Lucia to be tainted in any type of way, because it was like as if no one had ever done raw music, no one had ever done things like that. And I was like, this is an opportunity, you know, this is an opportunity to show people, you know, like in your day-to-day life, you're gonna curse, you're gonna be vexed, you're gonna be angry, you're not just happy 24/7. You can't just be listening to music that's happy 24/7. That's insanity. You know, it just doesn't make any sense, you know. And as Caribbean people, we are like, we wild, bro. I could lie, we wild, you know. So to have just clean music and that's how now we just wanted to show people the vibes, bro. We just wanted to show people what was real, what us young people were doing. We were going hotels, renting out hotels, doing these vibes. From the time we were like 15, 16, bro, like dumb things that most people probably wouldn't do until they're older. Like we were doing some crazy things. And it's like, let's just just show what is actually happening, you know?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's
It's
like
mad, bro.
you saying that there, like you saying all that to me right now, and like just
You're
flashbacks
coming back.
coming back. Yeah, bro.
You feel
But
me?
and even Vision and I was interviewing this other artist, a couple other artists actually. Zid was one, and IQ. I don't know if I'm not sure if you know them, but they all touched on that point, which is music is supposed to be an outlet for expression. So you cannot let people what or the thought of what people might think hold you back
Yeah,
from creating what you actually want to create and being true
of
to
course,
who you
bro.
actually are. So that's
Yeah.
such a point that you just
Mhm. It's true. It's true because I feel like there's like a lot of there's kind of this like facade where because everything has been had to stay like that, and it can't, as humans, like forget about just artists, just as human beings, we want to express ourselves and who we are, our personality. Everything now is going through social media. People want to know who you are, how are you, what's your personality like, who you're affiliated with, who's your friends, who's this. People are so interconnected now more than before, right? So even more of a wave now for you to like, what's the point in hiding? Like and this is like me showing no judgment to nobody. If you are living a life which is a certain way, don't be ashamed of it, bro. At the end of the day, with grown-up people, we're not kids no more. So it's like you're responsible for your actions. So it's like, if you know that is what and you're willing to put that out there, right? There obviously, you know how people might perceive what you're doing. But if you are confident within yourself and you're willing to take any backlash, you're willing to take any criticism, you're willing to take constructive criticism as well, bro, do you. You feel me? Do you? Because at the end of the day, no one's going to do it for you. You have to set your narrative as an artist. You set your own narrative. Especially when you're coming out, you set your own narrative. You can show people what you want them to see at the same time. So it's like, why hide it? If you are the type of person you like to go out 24/7, just drink up and do whatever it is, do that, bro. If you're the type of person that you're on a chill and you just, you're on a meds and you're on a deep kind of meds, bro, you like this kind of lyrical inner type, let that out, bro. You feel me? Like, if you're trapping, bro, this is me, bro. At the end of the day, you need to show who you are, because there's somebody else out there that relates to you. Everyone might not relate to you, but there's somebody there that does relate to your music. Whether it's a niche or it's a majority, someone is gonna relate to what you're saying. So don't hold back. You feel me?
definitely. And I hope you rhyme makers out there are paying attention, whether you knew or you've been doing this for a while. Just pay attention to what Trevor is saying right now, because putting yourself out there unencumbered is very, very important. So Trevor, let's actually take it to um something that we actually talk about here a lot on Rhyme Makers Live, which is rap names. So I know your current name, YXL Trev, it comes from the fact that you roll with a group called YXL right now, and that started for you back in the UK. So tell me about that, and like kind of
So yeah.
you having your background in GC and moving to a new rap group. How did that happen, and how is it
Right.
going?
So I would say, and I was tell Jaden, like Division and Jared Toaster, all of these guys, like when it came down to what we were doing when we were younger, we were doing a lot of things, like correct, but we weren't aware as to what we were doing. You, as a young person, you just go with the flow. You do whatever. You're not really aware of a lot of things. You're still new to the world. You're new to whatever the vibes are, the seriousness of it, the politics behind the music, there is so much there that you have to learn. And then it's like, when I realized I was at uni, I'd stopped music for like probably about maybe 2 to 3 years, because at university, like I couldn't manage at the beginning, and at the same time, it was good because I went into a path that was separate from the music for a little bit. I lived life a bit. I wasn't just putting myself in, forcing I was just living. I was open. That's the type of person I am. So when I was in Essex, that's in England. When I was in Essex and I was at the university there, I met a guy and he saw some of the videos from GC times. He was like, yo, bro, like you guys were like wilding out. You guys were wilding out. Like, why did you ever stop? And I was like, I can't really say that it's because I've stopped, but because I wasn't in the space where I felt like I was constantly growing. And that's the thing, you need to know that you're growing. If you're going to do something, you need to know that you're growing. And the environment that I was in at the time, it didn't really feel like I could have done it then at the time. So he was like, yo, come through to my studio and stuff,
right?
you know. He's like,
this is in the UK where you felt like,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Exactly. Yeah. Because the thing is, in England, it's a bit different, you know, like there's so many talented artists, you know, there's so many talented artists who are even yet to be discovered. So you realize now, by perspective, going from St. Lucia to England, you're like, okay, this is really like the standard that like people are requiring. And I think that's what kind of changed everything, because it's like we were so used to a certain standard when we were in St. Lucia and, you know, people's expectations. But let's say like the expectations was, hey, when you go to England, hey, and then it's like, you need to put your mind into it. Like, okay, I need to improve. I need to improve, you know? And I think that's why for me, it's like, you need to understand that you need to grow, and you can't just be content with yourself and just stay in a plateau. You can't. So he was like, come to my studio, you know, I went by his place. You know, I recorded a couple of stuff. And at that point, I was like, I love this music stuff though, bro. You know, and I'm talking with him and I'm like, I want to do this again. Like, I got like, the passion came back to me. I was like, I want to do this again, proper, you know? And I told him about GC. That's my guy, Ayo, by the way. Shout out Ayo, you know? And Ayo and I were just talking on the levels, you know? And we said, you know what, let's make a collective, you know, let's make YXL. And YXL stands for Young and Living, because it's like, we are just young, but people might think that we're dumb. They might think that we're not aware as to what's out there, what's the potential for the music. We are fully aware. Trust me, we're fully aware. This isn't back in like 2015, 2016. Like, this is times where everyone's grown up. People are aware. People have gone overseas. They've seen people. I know artists who are so talented, fam. I went to a couple of video shoots with some big artists. I'm just like, these guys got there because they deserve to be there. You feel me? It didn't just happen by mistake. An artist just comes out and then you're like, you know, like, you just think an artist just blows up out of nowhere. Now, go into their history and you've seen that they've been dropping music videos at a high quality for like 3-4 years, dropping tracks for years. It doesn't just happen out of nowhere. So we made the collective, you know, YXL, started off over in England, and then we basically said, you know what, let's target, you know, the uni. Like, let us really try to push the music at the university. So we did. And, you know, we were able to get gigs, get shows. You know, my first show, I have to say, I was in front of like 2,000, 3,000 students, bro. And that's like, it was crazy. That the pressure that was on me, I'm like, this is the first, I was the type of person, I didn't want to like share my music, bro. I was nervous, my guy. I was nervous. I didn't want to share my music for people to judge me, bro. And I'm in front of like 2,000, 3,000 students, and they are bumping to these tracks. They've never heard these tracks before. They've never heard these tracks before. And they are bumping to it. I'm like, I like the passion and the way I felt on that stage. I was like, nah, I love this now. Like, I love this even more than I loved it before, you know? So I was like, yeah. So we continued to push in England, continued to push at the university. And we created a solid fan base of people who, you know, through friends and people who were in the music vibes, people who were really there with positive intentions to guide us in the right way, you know? So that's why the growth happened so well, that I was like, you know what? I can't just show my British side. I need to show my Lucian side, because I know so many talented Lucians, bro. Like, I can list, I'm telling you, I can list 20 St. Lucian artists, right? Who, given the perfect resources, given the proper infrastructure, given the ability to show their music to the right ears and distribute their music properly, could make waves, bro. These are young people who have not been even blown up or given any type of credit as yet, bro. I'm telling you this. I'm like, I can't just stay in England. No, nah. So, because of COVID, I left. COVID obviously hit like this time last year. So I was like, let me come to St. Lucia. And then we expanded it. So now we have YXL Caribbean, you know? And likewise, I've just kind of, you know, used the same infrastructure and the same model that we had in England. and giving it, obviously every business is unique to itself. So it's like the YXL Caribbean side now is unique to the Caribbean audience. You know, I was making music before that I couldn't say solutions would have been able to support actively because it wouldn't relate to them. So I had to change my sound. I had to change my sound. I had to change my advertising, change my marketing, change everything, the beats, everything, the production quality. The whole thing now is so that people in St. Lucia can appreciate it and relate to it. You feel me? So it's been a massive project, bro. It's been a long journey, but it's been worth it. And I'm only like, what, like 23, bro? Like it's crazy. It's crazy.
That's the beautiful thing.
I know that was long. It's a long intro.
Yeah, that was great, man. I know, and that's the beautiful thing about it too, is like the fact that you started early and like you had all these experiences and that caused you to have all these realizations, and the fact that you were able to leave St. Lucia, see a different vibe, which kind of open your mind, bring that back home, and like keep that energy flowing. And like you're still so young, like that, it gives you a lot to look forward to, gives the fans a lot to look forward to from you.
Absolutely,
as well.
Bro.
And it's like it's like I remember like not seeing you for a while because you were up in England. And let me know, wait, am I still coming through clear? Because it looks like you're frozen a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you. You hear me now?
Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, I remember you being up there, and like one day I was like scrolling through my Instagram and I saw you performing at one of the shows, and like I saw that you were like running with the YXL, and I was like, at that point I didn't even know you were still doing music. So when I saw it, I was like, holy shit, like the man going up to England, like join us, doing shows like that. I remember seeing that, and I got excited. Yeah, bro. And like even when you came back down to St. Lucia, and you did the YXL Caribbean, like I seen like bunch of the of course old GC members now getting involved too, and I actually saw the shift in the branding and the sound to appeal to the Caribbean audience, and I thought that was like really, really smart. The fact that you can build your fan base at the same time down here and in the
bro.
So yeah, man, definitely.
Of course, bro. Of course, because it's like yeah, of course, because it's like when you put yourself in, like, especially for me, it's like I battled a lot as an artist to kind of find out who I was, because it was like I was born in England, but my whole family is Lucian. My mother's from Castries, my father's from Dennery. I was brought up knowing that I was a Lucian, but then I know that I'm still British at the same time. So I'm like, why not have the best of both worlds, bro? You know? And I had to teach myself how to make music that can relate properly to the roots. You know, I could go on the drill stuff, I could do the UK vibe, but at the same time now I can do the Caribbean vibe. You know, the music is about love, and it's about connection and about energy sharing. So if I can share that energy with more people, I don't care about nothing else. I don't care about nothing else, bro. If more people can enjoy the energy and the vibes, absolutely, my guy. Because we were all doing it from young, man, from young. And I think it took a while for me to realize, as you were saying that you saw it, I didn't realize a lot of people were watching. Because I don't tend to, I'm a very quiet guy. I don't do too much of the verbals on social media. I'm not like that. I'm not the type of person to, like, you know, I'm not in the drama. I don't like that kind of stuff. I just like to do my work, and I'm not, you know. So when I figured out that a lot of people kind of seeing like the vibes, and these were people who had genuine positive vibes and energy to it, I'm like, shit, like this can go somewhere, and I can not just do it for myself. And that's why this is nothing about me. Like, I try my best when it comes to the artists who are, like, we're working with now. I want to push their vibes. I want to teach these artists the little that I know. I have a lot more to know. I'm not a brain, but I'm not a perfectionist. I'm not at the level where I want to be. I'm going to continue to grow. But the little information that I might know that can make a process easier for somebody else who's going to try to do the same path, I'm going to tell you. You know, there's so many artists in Lucia who they were only dropping their music on like YouTube. I'm just like, bro, like, you cannot be isolated in your music like that. You need to let your music be heard by more people. Put it onto Spotify, put it onto to iTunes, put it onto these distribution platforms. And if it meant that I had to teach them, I would go through it. I would sit down to do it, because it's like, it benefits everybody. right? I told people this is not just about me. This is about St. Lucia and a wave. Like, we have the tools now. Don't be selfish about it. Don't think about yourself. This is about all of us coming together and showing Lucia as one, you know? Don't keep your resources just to yourself, you know? So educating everybody who did not know anything about that, you know, understanding copyright, understanding your rights as an artist, understanding your distribution, understanding marketing. When I was at uni and I was doing business management, like I'm literally just finishing my master's now in finance. And like, when I went through that process, I was like, I need to do it like this though. If I'm gonna do it like 100%, I can't just be thinking about the music. I need to understand the business side. And making sure everybody knows, it's like you need to know your stuff or else you're gonna be exploited, man. Like, and that's an issue that I personally have heard. These are situations that I know these people, you know, as artists. There is a lot of messed up stuff that are holding back a lot of talented people. And it's because they don't have the resources themselves. And the people who have the resources are taking advantage of that. They're putting these people in messed up contracts. You're putting artists in contracts and like, you know, they can't read and write. Why are you making them sign something though? How do you sleep at night? That's impossible to me. You feel me? Like, why are you sending an artist on stage and like, you know, the percentage cut, but because they can't read and write and they don't know the maths behind it, you're taking extra underhand. That's so messed up, you know? And that has happened to so many St. Lucian artists. It's happened to so many young, talented St. Lucian artists. And it sucks because it's like, I don't want that to happen no more. I don't want that to happen no more. I don't, and the thing is like, some people might think that the way YXL was, it's like a label that I want to tell people who don't even have associations to what YXL is doing, how to make sure that they get themselves into a good situation. You feel me? You're understanding about branding, you're understanding this, you're understanding that, so that you don't get into a situation where you're taken advantage of, man. It sucks. I've seen it happen way too many times now, bro. Way too many times. It's happened from managers, producers, and it's like, it's right in front of people's faces, but a lot of people are just like naive to it, and you know, this is like as if it's cool. It's not cool though. You know, it's not cool, and I'm standing up against that fully, man. I'm standing up against that fully, bro.
That's amazing, my bro. That's really amazing, and that's actually like with that's actually a problem. Even if we zoom out from the music, zoom out from St. Lucia, just look at the general world. Like if we look at the Black community in general, and not to get too heavy for the audience out there, but like our community in general, as people, we are significantly less educated than the rest of the world. Like we like, as you say, as you're doing, we need to like come together more, collaborate, share the information. Like there's too many times you find and I'm bringing it back to St. Lucia now. A lot of St. Lucians will get opportunities overseas. They'll leave, get so highly educated, and all that talent will stay abroad. It won't come back home. People will get left behind, and then the cycle just continues. But if, like you say, we can all just spread that information, each one teach one, because teamwork makes the dream work at the end of the day.
Bro, absolutely, bro. Because like, I think like in my head as well, there's like an easy trend when you're making music. And this was how it was when we were younger in GC times. It was like, we would just want to make songs with each other, right? Everybody wants to jump on features. Everybody wants to make music together. But as artists, doing collaborations and come together is not just coming on somebody's song, bro. You know, it's not just doing a song with somebody. It's like, if you understand that this person is like on, and this person is ready, and this person is like, give some open advice, bro. When it comes to when I drop music, bro, that shit needs to go for everybody, bro. I need everybody to hear that. My mom hears that, my girl hears that, my dad hears that, my cousins hear that, all the guys in the crew hear that, the label hears that, our agents, everybody listens. Because I want to know everybody's perspective. I want to know everybody's perspective, how to make something better. It's not just about me and what's in my head. You know, you're making the music for the people. So it's like, if you see somebody is at a disadvantage, educate that person, help that person. If you have been able to be blessed, and that's how I look at it, I've been blessed to be able to go overseas, to see what is there, to see and to learn from people, to go to music video shoots for artists that are like millionaires who've been doing this stuff for long to just sit down, not fanboy and do all this, just to sit down and watch the process and understand what it is that is behind the scenes and how it is. You feel me? You learn, you have to learn. So I think if artists are able to do that, come together but learn from each other, it completes like a more like a wholesome package, you know, a more wholesome package. And as young people, we've got all the resources, bro. So we can do everything ourselves, bro. You feel me? We can do everything ourselves. There's like a young DJ, you know, there's a young engineer, there's a young producer, right? There's a young videographer, there's a young photographer, there's a young model, there's a young this, there's youth in everything right now. And because we've all kind of like separated and gone of our own paths for a little bit, everybody's come back now with a more refined craft of their own. Like all the people who were doing videography like 5 years ago, they're like bossing it now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Definitely. Yeah, bro.
People who doing more and stuff like we just need to just be there for each other, man.
Facts. That's a very, very, very powerful point. Very, very powerful point. I hope everyone listening right now is paying attention, taking notes. If you need to watch this 2-3 times, go ahead. Make sure you soak up all of those gems. So let's actually take it back to like the nitty-gritty of the craft for a little bit, yeah. So when it comes to building a song, creating a new song, starting with from the beat, you already gave a little bit of an insight in kind of how you select your beats to cater to certain audiences. But what give us a little bit more of a look into your beat selection process.
Right. So if I'm honest with you, I listen to beats. You see how, for example, people listen to music? Just during the day, you're just listening to music, you're knocking music in your eye, you know, you're on the bus, whatever you're doing, you're at work. For me, that's beats though. I listen to beats 24/7, bro. I got so many beats. In a day, in a day, I will go through well more than 50 beats a day, bro. Just listening and vibing. Because it's like you cannot think that you're gonna just sit down, listen to one beat, and then all of a sudden that's gonna be the beat that you're gonna. Nah, it doesn't work like that. It's like a padlock and a key. Not every single padlock is gonna open from the key, bro. Check what I'm saying. You need to test everything. You're gonna test everything. So I make sure that depending on my zone and my mood, like I just listen to beats 24/7. And with the versatility of the beats comes the versatility of the sound, because now I'm not just only listening to, yesterday I was listening to some like Florida, kind of like trout, like kind of like Glock 9 type of beats, you know, like Kodak type of beats, bro. It's like someone will be like, why are you even listening to stuff like that? Yeah, okay, I might not necessarily drop a song that might be like that, but every single beat to me teaches you something. When I first started music and I started to do like rap beats, I started on rap fully, just rap. When I started on rap beats, it taught me lyricism and it taught me flow, right? It taught me lyricism and it taught me flow. So with that aspect of it, I learned how to write better, right? I learned how to write, how to, you know, punch lines, simple things like that. Then I get older. I'm starting to listen to some more like dancehall, Afro type of vibes. So now these are more the type of vibes that you hear in like a club. You're winding up, everybody, good vibes, drinks popping, all kind of vibes. Now it's about catching the vibe and the energy and the personality of that beat. You check it? So now I've transitioned to like an Afro-Caribbean style. I'm still using the same like process that I've learned from like rap and the lyricism. I'm just now putting it into another model now. You feel me? With the vibes and more flavor and more personality. Now with that then, when it comes down to dancehall, it's now that I got the flow, I'm understanding the lyricism. Now I can actually just put it all together, and it's a step-by-step thing, you know? And we used to freestyle all the time on just mad type of beats. Brazilian type of beats, bro. I'm listening to beats all the way from South America, bro.
Let's talk about freestyling for a little bit, because that's a big topic we like to talk about at Rhyme Makers, right? Freestyling, like a lot of artists, who been experienced, could be for a number of years. Sometimes you could get a great writer, but they're very weak or lack confidence in freestyling. So talk about
Right.
freestyling. How did you get better?
Right. I would say freestyling is where you are basically at like peace with music. That's how I see it. Because you forget about everything else. You're not in front of like a mic, right? You're not feeling the pressure of how it is to be in a studio. You're not, let's say for people who don't have their own resources, let's say you're paying for studio time. You're not under crunch time. You're not feeling rushed and you need to do this. You are in your own zone. You are at your calmest point. You're most likely around people who are comfortable with you as well, that you probably do music with, right? Or may say you're by yourself. At that point, it's about your expression as to who you are on music. And it's like, I think by going through the freestyling process, you just experiment with your own sound a lot more. You do things without feeling like the judgment at the back of your head that's like, this needs to be perfect. Bro, I freestyle and I've just talked crap, bro. I've just talked crap. Yeah. But the thing is, I might have been talking crap, but then like the melodies or the rhyme or the flow, it was nice. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take that flow, but when I have time, I'm gonna actually write proper lyrics to that flow and that melody. And it starts to become more like a habit. Because it's like, a habit takes what, like if you do something for 37 days at the same time, it's gonna become a habit after a while, bro. So with you doing freestyling, it's like you're jabbing yourself a bit more. You're pushing yourself a bit more again and again. Now, you don't even have to think like, I need to do music. Now you're just doing it. You're doing it wherever you catch a break. You're by the beach, you just go out, you're just chilling with your friends. It just runs. It's just vibes. So I think like it makes you appreciate the music more and just push yourself and just catch your vibes, bro. It taught so much, and when we came down to the Caribbean, like Jared and Teferi, when that's the two guys, who's on YXL as well at the moment, when them fellas were starting off, I was just like, bro, in a year's time, I told them in 1 year, you are gonna be dropping music and you're gonna be shot. I told them this. I legit told them. And I was just like, it's because now you're going to become habit. Nothing to do with me, nothing to do with anything else but you. Because you are doing the freestyles and you are constantly improving on what you're doing for a year. Fam, now these guys are able to make songs and faster as well. And that's because they have honed in on their formula and their own craft. They put in time into their own self, So I'm so proud of them when it comes down to that. I'm so proud of them, bro.
Definitely, bro. I love all the points you made, because it's like it all points to one thing, the way I see it, which is consistency. Like you say, just keep putting in that time, that effort on a day-to-day basis. You go through 50 beats a day. Like how many, like you when you listen to 50 beats a day, not only do you get like beats for yourself, you get beats for those around you. You get a better idea of you get so much more of a better idea of what beats you flow best on. Like when you're freestyling constantly, like you say, making mistakes, just talking crap a lot, like even if it doesn't make sense to you at the time, you get those flows, those melodies, you work that muscle, because it's really a muscle. Like being able to just free your mind and let go and like be free of the judgment and just say whatever flows. That's a muscle, and
it's
you
true.
develop it with time. Yeah, man, time and repetition.
It's true. It's like there's no such thing as like a waste when it comes down to music. There's no such thing as a waste. Like you can make a song that is, let's say, terrible. Let's say this song is not good. Like you on everybody around each other, they're like, nah, this ain't making the cut.
Yeah.
But there might be one thing in that song though that you can use. It might be the lyrics. The lyrics might be amazing, but the flow and the melody just don't work. It might be that, for example, you start to understand, especially for me, when it comes to music, I try to paint a picture. So I try to make it that if you're listening to it, you don't even need to listen to a music video. You don't even need to like watch a music video for you to understand the imagery and the visuals I'm trying to say. So by understand that, I'm like, you know what? There's no such thing as wasting time. And it might not have been the perfect product the first time, but when you go and look at it again, and consistency, you need to consistently critique yourself. and consistently understand the level that is expected. Don't get comfortable with yourself. You can't get comfortable with yourself. You can't just be like, I made a good song, so I'm just cool now. I'm just gonna, just keep making songs that just. You need to realize that at some point people are gonna get bored of that. People's attention spans right now is small, bro. You need to keep people entertained. You need to give people something to look forward to, another vibe, and you this and you that, keeping it interesting. As I said, adapting, and the consistency when it comes down to freestyling, consistency with pushing yourself, you start to get just a habit of consistency. So the consistency will now flood over to the quality of your marketing. It will flood over to understanding your branding. The consistency will flood over to your retention. All of these things, once you start to just build up the consistency, it just helps you so much, bro. It helps you so much.
Facts. Yeah, man. I definitely see that in my life as well. So you talk about you just mentioned critiquing yourself, right? So if you look back at your whole kind of body of work, your whole discography, what would you say is like a song or maybe a project, even an era of your music that maybe you're the most proud of or the most fond of? And what's one song or project maybe that you're like,
Okay, I would say that's a good question. When it comes down to, let's tackle the last question first, the one that I'm just like not fond of. It's like when you go through the process and you're older and you start listening to some of the stuff you was doing before, and like even for me, it's like I made like a song, like the stuff that's dropping now, for example, is stuff that I made like a year ago, right? And I'm gonna push through it. But the songs that I'm like making now, though, because I've learned so much over a year, it's so you're looking back and you're just like, okay, people might be feeling it, but it's like, boy, what were you doing there, bro? like you're starting to really judge yourself. You're like, boy, like you really fought for this? Like this is like yeah, and it's like I would say like that's like the main one for me would be like probably like I would say like Energy Crew. I'll say like Energy Crew. And the reason why I say Energy Crew, like that was a song I dropped before like the Caribbean music started, was because it was like, as I said about the identity, I was like, you could just tell when you're listening to it that I hadn't found myself as yet. I didn't know personality-wise or who I was. And I was like, I'm listening to this. Like, when you listen, I'm just like, I can't even recognize myself on the song. Right. Because it's not a full representation of who you are. And like, there's so many songs that even when I was making that, I was like, when I was maybe like 14, that I can be like, even this is better represented. Might not be like as well produced. It might not be as well selected, beat making, but I know that that's more me though, Right. So it's like, I think when it came down to that, it was just like, yeah, boy, when I listened to that, I think that's the song. I don't really play that one a lot myself. I don't really listen back to that one too much. That's just because and the thing is though, my guy CJ, he came down hard. He came down hard on that track for sure, So, yeah, so I would say like that phase, I was still getting to know myself. And it was my friend Tyreek who kind of told me, like, he was like, bro, like you Lucian, my dog. You Lucian. You check it. Yeah, you English, but you Lucian. You got stories from Lucian, my G. Put those stories into your music. You feel me? Put those stories. Show people, because people who you know what I mean? So I would say like the phase that I kind of like I'm the most proud of 100% would be right now, bro. And that's because I would say right now. And that's just because, as I said, I've been able to understand who I am outside of music, who I am and who I want to show the vibes to and who we want to represent. All of us fellas, all of us artists, all of the girls who are doing the music, the guys who are doing the music, everybody together now, it's like, we all know who we are more. Everybody, I've realized this in everybody who's dropping music now. It's like we understand ourselves so much more. And it's like you appreciate it, I, for example, might not always listen to something that's maybe R&B all the time. But an artist will drop R&B and be like, this is you. Like, yourself now. You've got, and I appreciate it, So yeah, man.
Nice, bro. Nice little insight into your kind of thought process of your own music there.
I judge
So
myself a lot, bro.
I feel like that's artists in general. Like we always really highly critical
Yeah.
of ourselves. And I feel like that's what helps us to continue pushing and get better, like you said anyway. So let's talk
Of
about
course, bro.
your inspirations. Who are some of your like top inspirations in hip hop?
Okay, so for me, as I said, I'm a very business-minded type of person.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't just look at the outside noise and all of that stuff. I look a bit deeper. So
Mm-hmm.
like one of the first artists, not necessarily like hip hop like that, but one of the first artists that in our new generation has kind of been able to set the tone as to something was The Weeknd, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I studied The Weeknd's understanding of music so hard, bro. Like I think the first song I ever listened to on my phone was Wicked Games, bro. Like that was sent over to me on Bluetooth, bro. I listened to it on Bluetooth, bro. Wicked Games, first song. I'm like young, bro. I'm listening to some raw music like that in my headphones. Like, what's going on? But I understanding what he was doing as an artist for longevity. We look at people like Jay-Z, we look at people like Kanye, we look at people like Drake. All what they have been able to do in terms of longevity is to make sure that they're constantly evolving, right? Understanding it from the music side, but also the business side. And it's like the Weeknd who I first listened to is not The Weeknd like now. He's had stages, he's had phases, right? He's gone from the guy who started off just making like, underground type of music, just sex alone, to then go into more like commercial type of vibe, still emotional, etc. To now making stuff which is like, perform at the Super Bowl, bro. You feel me? Now, if he was maybe making the music that he was doing before, would he have been able to go to the Super Bowl? Big question. Now, it's not that his music was not as amazing, because I personally find that I even prefer his music back then. It was amazing, bro. That's me. But that's because understanding the environment and the industry and adapting to it and evolving is so important. So he told me that through the music. I'm listening to it. I'm just like, his sound is changing, but his core, who he is, never changed, though. Who he is never changed, though. And Jay-Z, Kanye, all of these, I was watching a documentary on Hove, bro, and basically how he started up. This guy started up when he was so young, and he was like when he first started. A lot of the record labels, they doubted his ability. Def Jam, all of these, like there were so many big record labels that didn't really see him for what he was, and he was like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna make my own stuff, bro. He made his own record label. Right. He made his own record label and he pushed his own vibes. And it's like, this is a young kid back then when it was even harder, bro. I'm just like, come on, man, this is inspiration. If these guys can do it, if you take your time, you can do it too. You feel me? Like big time, bro. Big time.
Definitely. So what about if you had to, if let's say you only had to you had the chance to collaborate with just two of them. Artists, right?
Mad.
Who would it be?
If I had to collaborate with two artists, and that's like any and everybody.
Yeah, any and everybody. It's not two separate songs. It's like two of them with you on one track.
One track. Mad. Okay. So that's actually a really, really, really good question, bro. I would say like they were like at different phases of their career and stuff, or like how they are now.
Let's say you can take them at any phase in their career.
All right, at any stage. All right, at any stage, bro, I would 100% take like The Weeknd back when he was like doing like like just like the beginning stuff, like even before Trilogy, bro. Like I would take The Weeknd like that time, bro. And then I would say like the next person I would take would probably be I would take that's a hard one, I'm trying to make sure that the song actually makes sense as well.
Yeah.
Trying to make sure that the song actually makes sense as well. I really appreciate female talent as well, bro. I really appreciate female talent as well. So I would say one of the people who really like made my eyes like really understand the vibe as well, for sure, was Rihanna, bro. And you just have to give props to like people when they are, you know, you have to. And I would say that would be once again at her beginning stages, because she had like the Caribbean flavor front through, you know, and it's just because it's like when an artist starts off at the very beginning, they're at their most like to some people it might seem like it's like they're still rigid. They got like, you know, like it's not smooth. It's not like a smooth rockers yet, you know. But it's like that's like the beauty of it, though. That's the beauty of it, because they're doing any and everything. They're pushing their limits because it's like they don't really care. They do whatever they want, you know. So I would say that, bro. I'll say that, bro.
Okay. A collab between Early Weekend, Early Rihanna, and YXL Trev. That would actually be a dope. That would actually be a
It's not
dope.
like a whole bouillon, boy. It's not like a whole bouillon.
No, I mean, if you think about it, like it kind of makes sense, you know. Like a lot of the, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing if we had a time machine that can make that happen. I wouldn't mind seeing that collab.
Oh man.
So,
yeah, bro.
are you currently working on any projects that you can talk about right now?
Yeah, like how you said that. We'll talk about yeah, I can talk about a couple of things. Can't say too much though. I can't say too much.
Right.
But right now, but like right now for sure, I can tell you like we are working on music that is for the people, right? And this is no holes barred, bro. Like I'm not lying. Like it's gonna shock a couple people for sure.
All right.
Because it in the sense where people will think that Asian artists will play it safe, right? In times gone by, everything is soca. It's you know this type of like, you know, happy-go-lucky type of music, you know, positive vibes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that ain't like how life is, bro. And we're gonna be giving people the real life stuff, bro. The real life stuff, raw and unfiltered, bro. Raw and unfiltered. And this is the thing, though. Unlike before, where people will kind of be like these like kids who are just running around doing madness. It's like no. Right now, though, we're going to actually give the level of quality that you do on a commercial clean song. We're going to give it that level of quality as well. We're going to give it that level of time and focus to make sure it's respected. Because it's like, most times they might see us young people, they'll be like, oh, these guys are like rebellious, you know, like they're just wild and all. It's like, nah, it's calculated though. Don't get twisted, it's calculated though. So we're going to be giving people some raw vibes, you know, raw vibes. You see when Lucia open up, You're gonna be vibes, bro. You're gonna be vibes, my dog. You're gonna be vibes, bro.
All right. Well, I'll definitely be looking out for projects y'all have coming up. Y'all heard it here first.
For sure,
Rhyme Makers exclusive. Look out for some new raw music from YXL.
I know, bro.
Actually, I mean, damn, it's been an hour already. This is actually
crazy.
Brings us to the end of the interview. This was amazing. Thank you for coming through. I hope all you rhyme makers at home watching have gotten a lot from this interview. Actually, before we kind of end off, let me ask you, kind of for like, I mean, you did drop a lot throughout the whole conversation already. So I would actually encourage people to watch this a couple of times. But if there's somebody brand new, like fresh faced, they have like that kind of musical interest, but they don't really have the skills as yet. They don't really have confidence in themselves as yet, but they kind of have that interest and they want to get started. What would you say to them?
I would say it's like if you want to really push for something in life, right? And how we all are, we are all, there's so many things, different things are in our lives. You know, someone might be doing this, doing that, doing this. You might think that like music is like your extracurricular. It's like your hobby on the side. That's how it was for me at first. I'll be so honest. It's like extracurricular activity. If you're doing like something at 10%, you could never get everything out of it. You can never get everything out of it. If you're doing every single thing 10%, now what it means is that you need to just focus. Once you focus on it 100%, right? it doesn't matter as to the amount of financial ability that you have around you. It doesn't happen to the amount of like resource when it comes down to whether you have a studio, you can go to one. Up to a day like today, when it comes down to the references that I make for any kind of producer and stuff, I take a voice note, bro. I am literally recording a voice note. Until that song is made, I'm listening to a voice note, right? I'm listening to a voice note, bro. You feel me? So it's like whatever you have around you, it is gold. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise, right? If you have a pen and paper, you have something. You got something that you can write your lyrics down. You have something. You know, if you have somebody who's willing to take you to the studio once a week, go there once a week. It might not be every day of the week, but it's once a week. If you can go to like a show, right, and you can see from behind the scenes what's going on backstage, do it as well. You feel me? So it's like everything in general is just your perspective and your energy to push it. You're worth it. You have the time, you have the ability to do it. You are the only one that is going to make that happen for you. You are the only one that's going to make that happen for you. You feel me? So yeah, bro.
Facts. Big facts. Big facts. Definitely. All right, folks. This has been YXL Trev. Trevor, thanks again for coming along. Rhyme makers out there, thanks for tuning in and watching. Remember that Rhyme Makers has helped thousands of artists around the world stay sharp with the pen and on the mic. So help us make more Rhyme Makers. Leave a like, comment down below, hit the notification bell so that you can catch all these interviews as soon as they drop. And head over to rhymemakers.com to get your skills up. I am your host, Essie Krana. Rhyme Makers, play some music, write a rhyme. All right, Trevor, big up yourself.